Hi, it's Amy from Planted in the Middle. It is late April here, and I think we might be out of winter and ready to plant some stuff for spring. Today I'm going to plant a container garden for some vegetables and herbs, and by container I mean very small. This is not like a raised bed. This is a like 2 foot by 1 foot galvanized tub. So first things first, this does have holes at the bottom of it. I think you can probably see that there is a drip cord running through one of those holes, because I'll be doing the irrigation on that as well to keep things going in the heat of the summer. So how this is going to work is I'm going to fill this up with some potting mix and some compost, and then I have all kinds of seeds here. Way more seeds than is logical. Milo, can you move? Way more seeds than is logical for this size of a container. However, some of these are cold season, such as the spinach, radishes, and our temperatures here, even though it's April and we're not ready for, haven't gone past our frost date yet, we're getting temperatures in the 80s, 90s, so I feel like we missed spring. We went from 30s to 80s, and all of our plants are kind of crazy and not sure what to do. So I am going to overplant this container, knowing that some things may not work or will fizzle out from the heat before they even get a chance. So a lot of these seeds I got from Nicole at Gardenary. If you need container planting help or raised bed planting, she's a great resource. She had a good deal on seeds, and so I took her up on her package of like 10 seeds for the cost of shipping. So that's where a lot of these came from. Go check her out. Great resource. She overplants her beds for production and keeping the weeds down and keeping moisture in the soil. And so that's kind of the concept we're going to do here, only on a much smaller scale. I don't have an 8x4 garden bed yet. That's on the list a couple years from now. As soon as I get rid of some of the grass, we'll be putting in some raised beds for sure. In the meantime, we're going to just do a few little fun things in a small container and maybe add another container with a little other stuff later in the season. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you can see the container good here, and then we'll start filling it up with the potting mix. Alright, so I have my organic raised bed potting mix here we're going to put in this container, and I have my drip tube that's already through the bottom of it, so we want to keep track of that. I'll go ahead and fill up with the potting mix, and then we're going to add compost to enrich it a little bit better. So that's not quite a full bag. We put in our compost. Compost I'm using is Oma Grow. It's local to where I'm at here in Nebraska. And it's a great actual compost that is mostly small fibers. I've gotten some that is like wood chips. We'll dump some in here, and then we will spread it around, mix it up. Now, alright, so I'm just going to mix these two together, get the compost worked into it. It's probably fine to just do right into the planting mix, although it's not my favorite for a container. It's not the right consistency for what I like anyway. Let's work this into the first few inches here. With cool season crops, they are not going to get very deep roots. They're going to stay more shallow because they will fizzle out before they have time to really get a good root system going. We'll be harvesting them. Okay, I'm going to pack it down pretty good so that the seeds stay pretty level. In fact, I think I'm going to add a little bit more because the soil will settle with the rains. Alright, pressing it in so that seeds don't float away or sink into the soil too much. We want them the right planting depth. And then I do have this very cheap trellis that I bought to add to this pot because I want to do some peas and they need something to climb. So we're just going to stick this in here. And again, get away with the cheaper support. Whoops. Because peas won't be on here very long. Got that in there. Okay, I had to remove a layer there. It's starting to warm up. So hopefully you can still see me through this. First ones I'm going to do are the sugar peas, sugar snap peas. Let's see, these say not quite 1 inch deep. I'm just going to poke a few in around the trellis legs so they will have something to grow on. Just a few by each leg. These are nice big seeds. It's easy to keep track of them, see how far down they go. Okay. Now one of the next ones that I'm going to plant is the arugula, and this is something that I would actually use a lot of. Hopefully this will give us a little bit of a crop because it says direct sow seeds 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. I don't know that we're going to have any more frost. So I'm going to plant these right about here. These say 1 to 3 inches apart, not to bury too deeply. And they are tiny, tiny seeds. So just going to press them into the soil. Couple seeds in each spot. So those are planted about 2 inches apart. And I have tons more seeds. This is one that I will want to do a succession planting on, so I'm planting them now. And then I'll wait a couple weeks and put another batch in here, just make this spot a little bigger. And that way that they don't all come at once. And these are ones I believe that you can cut again. See if it says here. Yeah, cutting the outer leaves and leaving the inner should give you multiple harvests. Since we have our arugula there, let's go ahead and just put some lettuce mixture on the other side. And I find my plant marker. for lettuce. We'll just put it on this side. Again, these are going to be tiny seeds. Oh, yeah. 1 to 3 inches apart. 1 to 2 seeds per hole. So do a couple. And again, with the lettuce, this should be a trim and 1 week, and then you can do it again another week, get another harvest. Tons of seeds in these, so if you want to buy her seeds, you would have enough for a very large garden. Before I get too far along, I do want to plant. I did have one plant that I bought. Milo. That smell good? I got a sweet Thai pepper or sweet Thai basil plant here. And so we're going to stick it right in the middle. So Thai basil is one that I use a lot in a couple recipes. So having my own would be amazing. Popping that down in there, and this plant got hailed on last night and it has been out in a freeze, so it needs a nice bed, and then I can also protect it a little better. Next, let's do some radishes. This is another one. I'm using a lot of radishes lately, so let's bring these over here. So these are successive planting, a new row every week for continual harvest. 3 inches apart, 1 seed in the hole. If you've ever ordered garden seeds and had them, you get like 10 per package. These have a lot. I was going to see if it said. Does not say. These are a 1/2 inch deep to plant, so I'm going to do like a little row here with my fingers and sprinkling them in here. Not quite, a little closer together than the directions say. We'll leave some room so I can plant some more in the upcoming weeks. And cilantro, the next one here. These are not from Gardenary, but just a regular box store. This cilantro is one that I use a lot of as well, almost weekly or daily. These say quarter of an inch deep, that I like to do in a succession planting because I do go through them pretty fast. So we'll sprinkle a few in here. Save them for another, and under plant tag. Now spinach, this is another one that I would use a lot of, so we're going to make sure that gets in here. And again, this is another really cool season one that I don't know if we're going to get it in 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. Although it does say temperatures below 85. Okay. How deep? Doesn't say how deep. 1 seed per hole. Okay, well, this is a lettuce, so I don't think they go very deep. At least these are bigger seeds that you can actually see. Again, I'm going to do this in a little row here. Okay, now a fun one would be carrots. These are very highly unlikely, I believe. 2 to 4 weeks to the last frost. So we'll see. It's a 65 days, so maybe we can grab these. Let's see where we can put them. Carrots would be really fun to have. Tiny, tiny seeds again. And a 1/4 inch deep. So we'll just make some rows 2 inches apart. And then we will thin these. Now for fun, I have some zinnias to add a little color to this. I think we will put a couple in here. Not a lot, just a couple here. These are a short zinnia. I have giant zinnias in another area. But these will only get 8 to 12 inches. Fun for just a little color. I think there's some pest control benefits as well. Okay, I also have chives and some regular basil, which I have both of those growing inside. So I'm going to hold off on those for today, and then we will see how the rest of these plants take off. And if we have any holes, something doesn't work out, we'll put those in there, and possibly some others as the season goes on. So next step here, I have my drip tube. I just need to wrap some drip around here to keep this irrigated, and then it is sitting right on my drip line so I can snap it into there. So I'll zoom you in here. At least when I'm editing, if I can't do it now. So we have the end of our transport tube. This doesn't have any holes in it, it's just black poly tube. We put a barb in here. It's a connector. Not always the easiest to do, it's a tight fit. And then we connect the brown. This one has the holes in it. You can see an emitter hole here. They're every 6 inches. We pop that in here. And again, not the easiest to do. Might need to get some pliers. Okay, it has been a week since I got back out here. As I left it, you saw me struggle a lot to get these connectors to work together, to put the supply line into the drip line, and it was a chilly day out there, which was my problem. I didn't know. It was 55 degrees, so it was pretty chilly, and I thought that maybe there was a problem with the compatibility on the pieces, because there is such a thing when you get into the bigger diameter of drip. Like, there's an internal diameter measurement that's you need to have specific sized connectors to work with, and I thought maybe you had the wrong size connector even on the 1/4 inch. So I went onto Drip Depot's website and watched some of their videos, and they were very helpful, and I was correct. There is no interior diameter issue on the 1/4 inch tubing. That's only on the bigger, but they did give me this great tip to take hot water. This is boiling water, like I was just making a cup of tea, and to put the end of the drip into that cup for a few minutes and let it soften up, and then it has more pliability to get that in there. So I guess I've always done drip when it's been July and August and it's 100 degrees outside and it's already pliable, but for cool weather, that is a very good tip to warm up the end of the drip line in the hot water first. That worked a whole lot better, so I wanted to share that tip with you. So next I just need to get it into the supply line, or the drip line that's in the garden here. So we'll show you that process. Okay, so I think you can see here that I have the same drip tube that's up here in the container. It goes out through the bottom, and it's going to come right into the existing drip line. So we're going to tap into that. So we're going to use this barbed adapter here. It goes into one end here and one end here into the line. So I'm going to start by punching a hole in my supply line, which is actually the drip line here. There is a emitter hole right here, so there's like a piece of plastic around that you can't punch into. So I'm going to come up a little ways here and punch in right here. Shorten my supply line. You can just use regular scissors or like trimmers for your garden. I just happen to have these. And then I put one end of the barb into the supply line, or transport line. And we're not going to struggle with that too much since we know the trick. Let's bring our hot water over here. If I can get it in there. Okay. Soften that up. Squeeze it on here. Okay, we have the barb on that end, and then it's just going into our line here. Now, this may leak a little bit, which is okay, because theoretically I would have plants here since I have drip tape or drip line here anyway, but I just don't happen to have them, so it's okay. And now I'm going to go turn them on so you can see. So you see, we do have a little bit of a drip there, which is fine. In here, you can see water is running. It's working. And just an update from the prior week, I have seeds coming up. This over here is arugula. And what else do we have? Some over here. That is radishes, or these are radishes. I think these are our zinnias that we planted, the decorative zinnias. I think it's mostly just arugula so far. Spinach shouldn't be too far behind. Oh, there's a little bit of spinach. See it? And then my basil got a little nipped in the chilly weather overnight, but I think it's going to pull through. That is it for today. I've planted my little container vegetable garden here and have it up on the drip. Can't wait to see how it progresses, and I'll send you pictures as we get more growth. Thank you.